Okay, so we will start off, but not with disruption. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't know. We got, just do the Pledge of Allegiance. Just open the meeting. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Okay, folks, thanks for coming. I hope you can hear me. I was going to set up a mic, but I started late. So I'm Jim Morose. I'm the chairman of the Davis Republican Town Committee, and we had this meet the candidate night. And we could have a little meet the candidates. It's a shame we had this weather pop up like this. I'm sure there would have been a few more people coming, but thank you for coming.
We needed it.
And it's good to be out. So, I mean, we're just gonna, I invited 4 candidates. 2 of them are here. Representative Bob May, candidate Bob May.
Jim, I'm just going to
Sure.
because I think Mark wanted to capture it.
Well, Bill, yeah, that's okay. I got my own running. We'll take that. Thanks. And we have John Paul, who's my candidate for the 6th Congressional District here in our district.
Nice to meet you guys.
So, I just wanted to give each candidate probably 5 or 7 minutes to give their speech. And if anybody's got any questions, we can do that. Now, are there any elected officials here or any other candidates that I don't know of? Okay, very good. So usually we have the sign-in sheets, and if anybody's running for office, we don't. So, hold on. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Yeah. Okay. And the other 2 candidates would be Kevin O'Connor. He's running for U.S. State Senate, but he's in Tewksbury. I'm going to try to make the tail end of this, so we may get him in at the end and he can give a speech and we can continue with the questions. Okay. Dr. Shiva, he had a prior engagement, so he's not going to be here. But again, because he's not going to be here, he does have a website, and you can go there. I think basically any candidate, you can just go to their website. It's like his is Shiva for Senate, and if you go there, you can find your way through and get the information you need. But just as an FYI, Dr. Shiva was in Danvers yesterday. Okay, and he videotaped it, and it's on that website. If you can, once you get to the Shiva site, it's in there. Okay. So he's not coming, and the only other thing we have is the 2nd Essex Senatorial District, which would be our senator is Senator Joan Lovely, and again, she has no one to run against her. It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Beacon Hill. They don't have any competition up there. We need more Republicans, or at least people that are going to stand up and fight the stupidity that's going on, that they try to pass as legislation. I mean, quite frankly, with all this Democrat leadership, Massachusetts may end up like Portland, Boston like Oregon. I mean, those are the policies that they're pushing. That's what they've been doing, and that's where we are. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. And so I guess we'll go in the order of, I like the candidates, Bob is our closest one. State rep, he's close. We don't have a state senator, so he's out. Congressman is next, and we have state senators over here. So without further ado, we'll start with Bob. Do you want to? This is Bob May. He's our candidate, Republican candidate for the 13th Ethics District.
Thank you so much for coming out. Jim, you got off your soapbox. I guess I'm going to get on mine for about 5 minutes now. So yes, I'm Bob May. I am the state representative candidate, Republican, for the district that includes Danvers and West Peabody and Middleton. I am a businessman from West Peabody. I don't know if any of you know, but I've never run for anything before. I've never held an elected office. Never really had some burning desire to hold an office, run for office, and win one. But the opportunity arose. For years, I've been a little bit frustrated, confounded with the liberal policies and progressive initiatives that not only passed the state legislature, but even being considered at this point. So that's to the point where this April, I sat down with my wife and I said, "Hon, the kids are older. My two youngest are in, they're going to be seniors in college this fall. I have a mature business that I run out of Newburyport. I can pretty much do it in my sleep. I said, I get the time and the energy. I have two choices. I can either continue to go to bed frustrated and upset about what I see, hear, and read about going on in the state, or I can step up and try and do something about it, my little small part." So,
Yeah, can you speak up?
I'll try. I was out knocking doors for 2 hours before this, and I'm getting a little hoarse, so I'll try and make this. I'll try.
I'm going to get the mic closer to you.
Oh, thanks, Mark. So, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Malden. I graduated from Malden High School. Married my wife Patricia in 1991. We moved to West Peabody in 92, where we've been for almost 30 years now. We have 4 kids. My oldest daughter Sarah is 26. She works in social media marketing. She's in Sweden right now. My younger daughter Sydney is a mechanical engineer. She works for Pratt & Whitney down in Connecticut. And my oldest twin boys, Stephen and Spencer, like I said, they're going to be seniors in college. One goes to school in Florida, the other one goes to school in Stony Brook, Long Island. I also have an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Lowell. Now it's part of the UMass system. I got an MBA with a concentration in finance from Northeastern University. From there, I went into business consulting, which I did for a couple of years. One of the projects we had, one of the projects that we had during that 2-year period was I was an auditor for the Federal Transportation Authority. We went around the country auditing government contracts that were entered into by the different agencies across the country, making sure they complied with all the federal guidelines for procurement contracts, bidding processes, Buy America initiatives, those kind of things. And then in 2002, I left that to start my own company, which is now based up in Newburyport. It's called TechSource Thermal Solutions. It's an electronics distribution company, mostly business to business. I don't do any retail or online sales. I have a handful of customers that are all in the manufacturing industry themselves. And most of them are in the United States, but I have a couple that are outside of the U.S., like China and Brazil and Italy, three that come to mind. So 3 questions that I'm assuming you're probably wondering about me is, why did I decide to run? So like I said, it was really a matter of being able to try to push back on the liberal policies and legislation that we've all been, I shouldn't say all, I can assume we're all conservative Republicans here, but I think most of us probably are, that have been going on for years, and especially the past 5, where it just got to the point where I said, Trish, I got to do this. I have to do something at this point. Another question that I think you're probably wondering is, why am I different from the other 5 candidates in this race? Because as you know, Mr. Speliotis, who holds the seat now, announced his retirement a week and a half after I jumped into the race. And I think my answer to that would be education and experience, ironically. And I say ironically because my 2 liberal opponents in this race have been in government for a very long time, and they say they have the political experience that the state needs to meet the challenges in the state, especially due to this pandemic. But I push back on that, and I say that's actually my strength, because I have, like I said, the education and the experience of not only doing the work for the government, the federal government, over 20 years ago, but starting a small business and everything that includes everything from signing leases and accounting and inventory management and sales and human resources, all those things. So all that together with raising a family in Massachusetts for almost 30 years now, I think I've got the life experience to go up to Beacon Hill and put a fresh set of eyes, okay? A different perspective to look at the problems and the challenges that we have in the state. The third and final question I think are probably on your mind is why vote for Bob May for state rep? And in a very simple word, I would say change. Okay, from day one, we are going, if I'm fortunate enough to represent the folks at Danvers, we're going to have a conservative voice on Beacon Hill. We have not had a conservative voice in over 30 years. Over 30 years, and I think it's time. And Mike and I and Matt and our staff have been knocking on doors in the neighborhoods of the 13th district for 5 weeks now, and I can tell you the response has been incredible. We need that voice. We need to get some pushback on some of the outrageous behavior, in my opinion, that's being considered. I mean, the two most recent examples, the police reform bill, the transportation climate initiative, I would have voted no on both of those, absolutely, 100%. So, know that I am a conservative, and all the positions associated with me are going to be conservative. I support the Second Amendment. I'm pro-life. As I mentioned, I support law enforcement 100%. I'm against tax increases, especially that TCI, which is going to be an automatic gas tax, which, by the way, we voted against 6 years ago. Okay? And last but not least, I support President Trump and his First America agenda and everything that means. So in wrapping up, I wanted to actually read or share with you an email that I received. It's a response to a thank you email that my wife sent out after we had our campaign kickoff fundraising event a few weeks ago. She just sent out, everyone, when they checked in, they wrote put their email address, and we sent out thank you notes. And I got one in response. We weren't expecting any replies back to a thank you note, but I got one, and I wanted to share with you because it really resonated with me, because we go out knocking doors, and I'm not sure if the message is really being heard. I'm not sure if I'm really communicating, why I'm in this, why I'm doing this, and what my hopes are. Because when I was talking about change, in reality, I have to answer that question two ways: short-term and long-term. Short-term, if I'm fortunate enough to represent the folks at Danvers, honestly, not a lot's going to change. We're outnumbered 4-1 on Beacon Hill right now. Okay, it's like 130 something to 20 something. Long term, my hope is that we'll be able to look back in hopefully a couple of years, maybe 4, and say, you know what? I was at the beginning of a movement that started taking back our state from these far left progressive politicians. That's just my hope. So let me share this email with you. It says, "Hi Tricia, our pleasure. We need to preserve what we, our parents, grandparents, and so on did for us to make us what we are today. By making each generation better, attaining more wealth, working, sacrificing more opportunities, college education, jobs, strong spiritual values, etc. Sacrifice working, saving, and helping our families grow ahead in the greatest place to live in the world. Why do so many people want to live here? The opportunity to be free and to be whatever we can be, to enrich our lives and the lives of others. The other side believes in nothing but having absolute power to control and keep the individual spirit down by taking away more of our freedoms, keeping the individuals down, and bowing down to political correct agendas. We are not Russia yet. We are one nation under God. It starts with people like Bob, a local community voice who is trying to support the values that many of us believe in: God, family, and friends. We will win. There is no trophy for second place in this race. Best wishes, and great to see Bob and your family. So in conclusion, we're going to be knocking on doors for all the rest of the summer. If I haven't gotten to your individual house, if you don't see one of our door knockers with white scratchings on it that says, "Sorry I missed you," please reach out to us. The website's, it's on the car, it's on the yard sign if you don't see it, but it's may4rep.com, M-A-Y, the number 4, rep.com. There's a link on there that says contact us. You can hit that, or you can just email us at may4rep@gmail.com. Say, "Hey Bob, can you come over? I want to have a coffee hour with some friends," or "I want to have a cigar night with you and some of my buddies." And yeah, there you go, Mark, right? So, what I want to leave you with is, one of my concerns as I do a lot of these events is I come across maybe a little bit angry or kind of doom and gloom type, and I hope you don't, take that away from my little speech tonight, because I grew up in this state. I love this state. I love the culture. I love the seasons. This is my home. I just want to make it better. I want to make, and I know my friend John Paul is going to talk about this, because I've done a couple of events with him. He's going to talk about opportunity, okay? This needs to be a place where you can live your life and be happy, however you define that. However you define that. Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail, and have a great evening.
Thank you for running.
Good job. Can you give your sign next to you, and I'll get a shot?
Okay, thanks. I don't think I need a microphone, do I? Okay.
You never needed one.
No.
Okay, sorry for that. I was on the phone there because that was actually Kevin O'Connor. They're leaving Tewksbury now.
Hold on. Let me get this shot for the opening. I missed the opening. You got started without me.
The show must go on, man. I mean,
All right, Bob. Here's your chance to put your sign up, and let's get it into the ground. Oh, hold it up.
Solid, Mark. What do you want me to tell you?
It's the hard ground at the library.
okay, yeah, this is what we do. Hold on. I can't, look at that.
Oh, you got the old-fashioned way. Yes, it is. Very good. Thank you.
So Bob, so Kevin O'Connor's on his way from Tewksbury. I don't know how long it takes to get there from here, but we'll find out. Summer 25, we'll see when he gets here. Okay, actually I work in Nashville, so that's my halfway point. Okay, so next we're going to have John Paul speak. He's our congressional candidate for the 6th Congressional District, and John Paul. You need the mic?
I don't know.
Okay.
Seth Moulton heard me like this yesterday, yelling at him at the top of my lungs, telling him to go shove it. I'm talking at the post office. So I lost my voice a little bit, yelling over the communists in Lynn. Communist is a nice word. I could use other words. Hardest thing about running for politics, there's a whole bunch of words I can't use anymore. Being from Jersey originally, that's really hard. So my name's John Paul Moran. I'm running to beat Seth Moulton and bring a little more America back to where America began, from Massachusetts, because it is, but it's not. Because the Democrats chose to be the anti-American party and the anti-opportunity party, and this is our chance to vanquish them and destroy them so badly that they realize that Marxism and hate and identity politics doesn't work, and maybe they'll become the party of JFK or some form of it, like they were, 50 years ago. Until then, it's war, because those people cannot win. Those people will destroy our country. Seth Moulton is part of the problem. He came in, you know how many people tell me? They say, oh, Seth Moulton, veterans, people, one after the other. When he came in 2014, I believed he was going to be bipartisan and middle of the road. He was a veteran, and he said he was going to be more like, you know, he wasn't going to be, he was an American, not a liberal, a Democrat or a Republican. Guess how many times, guess what percentage he votes with Nancy Pelosi after he got his ass beaten by her? 100. 100. He just rubber stamps everything she does, and he did his job. And this is the guy that went against her 2 years ago. So, you know, Seth Moulton is just a problem. And he saw probably his first alpha male that ever went after him yesterday, right? I don't think he was ready for me. I think I scared him a little bit. He's not used to someone like me coming after him. It never happened, probably, ever. So, this is from a gay dude, too. Is that funny? He's going to be super embarrassed, you know, with this. So yeah, and I see the flag, the gay flag. I actually don't like that flag. I used to. But now it means LGBTQ, you know, communism, Marxism, hate America, regender your children stuff. So they kind of they're ruining everything. Now they ruin the gay flag. It used to mean something good, not anymore. You know, like damn, I have anything left. They're taking it all. So I'm originally, I'm sorry, I'm originally from Jersey. I'm sorry, but you can tell from my voice I say water. Okay, been here 30 years. I still say water. I'm running for a whole bunch of reasons, and I never script my speeches, so you always hear something different from me. So that's a good thing. If you see me speak multiple places, I'm not like a robot like all these other politicians out there. Like, you know, you see Warren, she would give the same exact speech and movements like a robot, like everywhere she went. And same with, not Trump, so, not me. So I'm originally from Jersey. I graduated with a degree in optical engineering. I built a space telescope. I look like I was 12. I see a picture of me at NASA. I look like I was 15 years old at best, right? And they put me in charge of designing the optics for a $500 million space telescope. It worked. It worked really well. Went up in orbit and most advanced of its kind, and was using the Iraq War and everything. So at least kudos to the team for making sure it didn't blow up when it went up in the rocket. After that, I started a marketing agency, a t-shirt company. I had a surfing company. I made 10 internationally selling surfing films, the best surfers in the world. Did that for a bunch of years. Almost got a TV show on the air. Then I I moved into a digital marketing agency, real estate. Wrote a book called Cues for Conservatives. Who have heard of my book, Cues for Conservatives? Probably not, because it wasn't that famous. But I went to take on Rules for Radicals and beat that like a rented mule. Can I say that? I'm a politician. Can I say that? I don't know. Anyway, I went to, because it's that garbage. It was socialist garbage. And the book I wrote was basically pointing out the left's rule book, which is Rules for Radicals, which they use, and it's being played out right. Everything you see being played out right now is part of the plan. The George Floyd thing, I have inside information from Washington that right after that dopey Biden said that blacks can't be Democrat or they're not black, they were in red alert mode because they were going to lose the black vote and they needed an emergency. And they said, let's go to war with the police because there's 800,000 of them and 43 million black people. So we're going to go to war against the police, and that will save the black vote. That was the reason why they did this, and that's why we're in this pickle now, because it was all created by the crazy Democrats, and all these people are going along with it. So we have to expose it, and that's another thing I'll be doing when I go to Washington. So my message is unity, liberty, and opportunity for all, and that is the Moran Machine. If you haven't seen it yet, you guys turn around. If you haven't seen the Moran Machine, you guys like the Moran Machine? It's a screaming loud pro-American unity, liberty, and opportunity for all. It's got the big flag on the back. I stand on the back of it with a megaphone when I go and trigger leftists. And they get really scared. They scatter like cockroaches when we show up in that. You know, the bad people. But yeah, I take that around because I figure it's a mobile billboard. It's pro-American. And leftists really hate it. They get really scared. So, I'm sorry, it's true. It's true! The Moran Machine, they get scared. It's like the Batmobile showing up and all the bad guys running around, running away. Oh my God, Batman's here! So I wish it was like that. I was getting close. So I got this Moran Machine to go around town in. My message though is really it's unity, liberty, and opportunity for all. What do you think the left is? It's power, wealth, and control, right? Power and control especially. That's all they want. That's all they care about. They're willing to open the borders, attack our police, have cities leave burning to the ground because they want power that bad. That's why people like that can't have power. That's why people like me and Bob May have to stop them because they can't have power. They're the worst people to be in government. Seth Moulton, when he was in high school, I met his high school teacher last week, and he said since he was like 15, he was like, I'm going to be president. Join the Moulton, join Team Moulton. I'm like, that is the worst guy. First of all, I've never been in student government, never into any of that stuff. He was like student government. He joined the military just to advance his career. The guy is a loser, and he wants to be president. Really? And that's how they all think. They have nothing going for them. So I believe I try to do something. I stopped working. I mean, I kind of stopped working. I'm still working in my company, but my philosophy. People say, "Why are you running?" And I say, because I had the surfing company. I had a printing company. I wrote a book. I did all these fun things in my life, right? And I want other people to be able to have that because that's all gone. What I had, younger people will not be able to do that again. Because if these leftists take over, I want to tell you how bad it's going to be. I have think tanks in Washington, and friends of mine that are in these think tanks. They are going to get in. They're going to put Barack Obama and Eric Holder on the Supreme Court. And they are going to put 11 people on the court, and they're going, because they can't get their crazy stuff through unless they take over the Supreme Court. And you're going to see everything go down from there. You'll never see another Republican president again. So we can't let them do it. We can't let them do it. They're going to destroy the country. And so on the positive note, what I'm looking to do in the issues is secure communities, securing our lives and our communities, securing our economy and our jobs, and securing our liberties and opportunities. Those are the big things that government should be doing in the first place. Without having a safe house to live in and a place to go and run your business out of that's not going to get burned and looted. By the way, I came up with a motto from Democrats. Democrats, you can have this, loot America. I just gave them in a silver platter what they should use for the slogan, Loot America 2020. Because they're doing exactly what they're doing in Portland and everywhere else. They're going to come in and they're going to say, you work hard, you started a business, you worked your whole life, we want that. And we're going to take it, we're going to tax you to death, and we're going to burn your cities to the ground to get it. So loot America is their motto. So we can't have civilization without security. Securing our borders, police, military, our first responders. Who's up for that, right? Who supports our police? Absolutely. Right? Granted, we need police reform, some of it, a little bit of it. Everybody can be better every day. I actually thought I could be better. I don't know. I'm only kidding. Only kidding. I'm joking. But no, we have to have secure communities. We have to support our police. And then second to that is securing our economy and jobs, right? Because, we have the greatest economy, and then COVID and the Democrats just put it in the toilet, right? So we have to have unless we lower taxes, incentivize businesses to come here, get our jobs back from communist China. Who wants companies back from communist China? All of them, right? Guess who doesn't want to do that? Seth Moulton. Yep. And you won't see any Democrats criticize China. You know that? They even called it the European virus, not the China virus. They think they can brainwash and say whatever they want, and people will believe it. We're not dopes. You are. We're not dopes. I'm sorry?
China's their cash cow.
China's their cash cow. They won't criticize China. They won't criticize Antifa. They were told not to criticize Antifa, and they're not allowed to criticize court packing. You won't hear any of them. They're given strict instructions. Do not criticize it and duck the issue, because they will pack the courts if they get in and change the rule in the Senate, the filibuster, and they're just going to go for. So that's, and my third thing is after that is securing our opportunities and liberty for all, and unity and liberty. Opportunity is the purpose of government, I believe, and I have a 5-point. That star on my truck is the 5 points of opportunity. I don't want to drag it out too long, but I have 5 points of opportunity. The whole philosophy of why government in the first place, which I think we should rank every candidate by. Unity, economic opportunity, personal opportunity, educational, social, and national opportunity. It covers everything government should be doing. If it's not in that star, government shouldn't touch it. We should be free people to do our own thing. So that's my philosophy of my star, and I believe that importantly we're Americans first, and the difference is between the left. It's like, if I'm gay, they're gay first, and then they hate America. Or if you're black, and then you hate your country. I believe, like the coach said, the 1980 Olympic coach, is what's in the front of your jersey is a hell of a lot more important than the name on your back. So USA is, damn it, what we stand for, and then USA, and I'm Christian, that's at the top, right? My family, and my party is, believe it or not, my party's below that. I'm an American first. But now the cool thing is, America and Republican are the same thing. They gave it to us in a silver platter. Which is we are Americans and they hate America. They made it easy. We should be able to clean their chronometers and kick them all out. Because who the heck can vote for somebody that's against their own country? And that's what they're giving us a gift. And if we don't know how to use it, then we're the dummies. So my attitude is let's take them all out and show that we care about America and common sense government, right? Common sense, rational common sense government. I get Democrats that even like that. So, especially JFK Democrats, which I'm a fan of. If they can just come on our side, we'll come. We'll beat everything. Okay, that's my talk. I hope I didn't go too long. Those are my points. And of course, serving the district, serving the district. Not traveling around the country and raising money for other candidates and, having mental attacks, which I guess some people I get here. He has some mental issues. He's got anger issues. He's gonna have really anger issues when I beat him. But I better. Yeah.
Seth who?
Seth who? Sid Melton. I call him Sid Melton. I'm sure he's not gonna like that.
Like
But,
Charlie
it's a beautiful
Parker.
sky. Look at God gave us a nice sky tonight. God's like, I like Republicans. He gave us a nice sky. All right. So that's my position. We need help. My website's johnpaulmoran.com. Just think, John Paul Moran. John Paul Moran. So remember my name, and we need money. So if you're rich, give us all you have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, at
for
least
that.
max out. We need to raise like $800,000 in the next few weeks. So
Thank
we
you.
need that. We need volunteers, door knockers, people to say how awesome John Paul Moran is, that guy. And
Look him up.
look him up. He's nothing like me. He's way better than me. Way cooler. And we need help. And we need, an army of volunteers. Think of the Minutemen from 240 years ago. We're like all Minutemen because we have to take our country back from these scumbags. We gotta go. We gotta win. This guy's gotta win. We all have to win. Republicans, right? Thank you for being real Americans, everybody. Thank you for coming out. You guys rock. You all rock.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John Paul. Okay, he's right, but it's the 21st century. We're not Minutemen anymore. We're nanosecond men. We
All right.
fly.
Nanosecond men. I like it.
In that sky, are there any mariners out there? Because that's, big sky at night, sailor's delight, baby. That's it.
There you go.
Okay, so I got it. I just got a text from Kevin, and his GPS said that he should be here at 8 o'clock, 7:59. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? This is going to be a question and answer period. Does anybody have any questions for the candidates?
I have a question.
Okay,
I'm always having a question.
okay. Which candidate?
John Paul.
John Paul.
John Paul.
Question
Yes,
for John Paul.
I heard he left, but I'll answer for him. I'm only kidding.
I'm not even gonna. Don't walk around too much on me, will you?
Stay here.
Yeah. The question is, you're coming up as the Republican contender for Seth Moulton's seat, or Seth Moulton's position. What
Yes.
does the district consist of? Who's included? What towns are included?
Okay, so there's 39 cities and towns in the 6th district. Like most of Massachusetts, it's been really gerrymandered, so it's kind of not a straight line, so to speak. So Billerica, Bedford, and are the furthest west part of it. Okay, and then we go from Bedford, Billerica, and Tewksbury, and Burlington, out pretty much the whole North Shore from there. But we don't include the top of the state. We don't have Dracut, we don't have Lowell, we don't have Haverhill, but we have all the rest of it. And then we have Peabody, Danvers here, Peabody, Saugus, and then all the way up to Gloucester. So 39 cities and towns. It's a lot of doors to knock. We need help with that.
Do you have a primary?
No primary. I'm the only one.
That's a good point, because that can take a lot of time away from you.
Yeah, I can focus just on Seth Moulton, which is good.
So I ask a lot of questions, and my question to you is, what do you expect to accomplish by being elected? Because you may get elected.
I know, can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
Damn. That's a lot of work. It's like cleaning a college kid's room that hasn't cleaned his room in 5 years. It's going to be cleaning up. You know, a lot in terms of what I would accomplish. I have some really cool ideas I've come up with. So, I mean, obviously fixing the economy, bringing back jobs, supporting our police, educational choice. I'll be fighting for that, and there's a bunch of other things. But we haven't had. You know, there's only 11 engineers and scientists in all of U.S. Congress out of 535 members. So I'll be the 12th. And these people that making these laws about COVID, about genders, you know, child genders, that don't know nothing about science. We need more scientists. So I'm going to bring some common sense science to Congress. I also came up with an idea of I'm going to be supporting the Keep 9 amendment, which is keeping 9. Who wants to keep 9 on the Supreme Court? We need an amendment to make sure that the Democrats don't go and stuff the court. So that's another thing. And I came up with the idea of the Defense of Small Business Council. The Defense of Small Business Council would be in the House of Representatives. I would start it and I'll run it because I'm a small business owner for life, and we are getting. What word do you use when you can't? We're getting a beating. Small businesses, because the big businesses are colluding with government, right? Especially the big tech companies, and they get protected. If you work for government, you're protected. But the 50% of people that work for small businesses and small business owners have gotten it bad through the COVID virus, and they're not getting relief. So I will fight, and putting them all together are 10 times bigger than the biggest corporation. So I'm going to fight and create a massive coalition of small businesses. That's my first thing I'm going to do. And another first thing I'm going to do, in parallel, is I'm going to create the United States Opportunity Corps.
Okay, don't you need Nancy Pelosi's permission to do that?
Nancy, I'll give her a really nice bottle of my very finest Irish whiskey, and she'll just take that. She'll go away somewhere when we're voting, because she'll just go get hammered, because we all know she's a messy drunk. I'll have a drink, but she's a messy drunk.
All right,
I hope
thank you.
Nancy sees that. Anything else?
Any other questions?
I'm sorry.
about this?
Any other
not
questions? No,
national.
I'm serious. The Opportunity Corps is something I came up with, which would be like the Peace Corps, but for the United States, for young people to get involved and take 2 years after high school. And it wouldn't be government funded. It would be private business funded by government. It would be a private business and government partnership. It'd be sort of like the what they do in Germany really, really well is that they're great at the trades and apprenticeships. So it would have an apprenticeship track, and it would be a very pro-American effort, and people would be able to get de-brainwashed from all that liberal education, because they'd have a very pro-America agenda. And you'd be able to save money, not go to college, spend $250,000 getting brainwashed by the left, and maybe get a job where you can actually make money right away. So that was another idea that came up with the Opportunity Corps. I want to do that. JFK, after 60 years after JFK, JPM comes in with the Opportunity Corps. Like that?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. John, one more quick question. I thought that Seth Moulton had a primary,
Yeah, Seth Moulton
but
has.
so he may not even win, can he? Who's he running against, and what's going on there?
So he has two primary components. You guys know about his primary? So Sith Melton, I just like saying that. I'm just sorry. I'll mispronounce his name at the debate, so I'm sure. But he's got two primary components. Angus McQuack, or McQuaid, or I call him McQuack. What's his real name? McQuillan. I'm sorry. I just call him McQuack.
I'm going to have to bleep you.
What is it? What? McQuillan. Sorry. So it's not funny, but I call him a quack. But he started Planned Parenthood. He was the president of Planned Parenthood. So you know what he liked doing? Planned Parenthood up to birth. So it's him, and then this another Jamie Bellucito, and they're running against him, and they're both to the left of him. If you can believe that there's a place to go to, but you're already on the ledge, and there's a left place of that. That's interesting, but they're to the left of him. So since there's two of them, I think one of them far left will split the vote between those two. So I don't think he'll be taken out. But there's a chance he would. It'd be fun if he would. But I actually want to go against Moulton, because that would just be more fun, in my opinion. It's going to be more work, but more fun. So there's two that are going against him. So he's getting it. That shows how much the party doesn't like him, because he's got two like, who ran for president and has 2 primary competitors, right? He's not popular with the party and not popular with people, so I think he really is weak. And that's what I tell people. I don't know how many people say, oh, you're in a blue state. Oh, it's like a wasted money. You get good luck. I'm like, actually, look at the numbers. We have statistically a D+6 state, and that's considered very competitive. But you take in the fact that he's getting 2 primary competitors, and he really got Nancy Pelosi and all those guys mad at him, and he's not far enough left for the crazies. He's in a precarious position, so he can be beaten. So that's why I think this is the time to take him out. Quarter century since we had a Republican in Congress. I think that might be a. Was that Angus?
That was me.
That would get me out of the stage, right?
No.
Yeah, so he's got 2 primary competitors. So I don't have a primary, but he does. I'm shut off. Get the bottle out of his hands. Go. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. If any of you have questions, jump one way or another. I've got my paraphernalia up here with the cool star on the sticker. Put in your card. Lots of eyeballs.
Does anybody else have any other questions for John or Bob?
No, we're just proud that they're running because we're not doing anything like that. What can we do to help you people? That's what we should be asking. What can we do?
Just tell us
What do you need from us?
what's going on with your, you got 5 people, and how's that all working out? And did you tell people where your website is?
Did I? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he handed out these.
If you didn't hear before, the website's May4Rep, my name, the number 4, rep.com. I'll share a funny story with you. When I pulled the nomination papers and actually announced my candidacy, after speaking it over with my wife, who wasn't entirely on board, she started asking me all these questions, and as a first-time guy who ran for anything, I didn't have any answers. She says, well, what does this mean? Like, what does a state rep do? And I was like, I have an idea, hon, but I'm not really sure. I know you go to Beacon Hill, and I just want to represent, conservative voices. Well, how many days a week do you work? Do you have an office? Do you do 9 to 5? You have a job? And I was like, that's a good question too. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. And then she says, well, do you get paid at least? And I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea. I get an excellent question. I don't know. But I think ultimately, like I said in my little speech, was we just don't have representation. I registered as a Republican at 18. Honestly, when you're 18, you're not really politically minded. You're thinking about other things like in your life, right? I've never looked back on that decision, ever. Everything, as I got more experienced and more knowledgeable, just in life in general, just confirmed that decision that I had made so long ago. I pulled the nomination papers, announced the candidacy, knowing that Ted Speliotis had been our state rep for 32 years, I think, more than that total, because I guess
Twice.
he was a rep and then he lost a race and then he came back. So I knew when I pulled the nomination papers that my chances were very slim to none at that point, right? But it was what it was. Like I said, I had to do something. I said I'm going to push back. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least I can say I tried. A week and a half goes by. Mr. Speliotis announces his retirement. So for all of a minute, Bob, first-time candidate, is running unopposed. Oh, great, right? No, that didn't last long. And it's funny because people had said when he announced his retirement, Bob chased him out of the race.
Oh.
Kidding, right? I'm not saying I chased him out of the race, but I'm not saying I didn't either, right? The point is now with an open seat, we got 5 people in this race, right? It's become something that's a real long shot to you work hard enough and get your message out, you got a chance.
It's our best show.
And it's interesting. John Paul mentioned about the engineers and people of science, representing us. I had never thought of that. I don't know how many engineers are up at the State House. I can't imagine there's that many. But it reminds me of something I thought of a few weeks ago. If you remember from high school biology, right? There's this famous experiment called the boiled frog experiment. Does anybody remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you don't, the way it goes is if you took a frog and threw him in a pot of boiling water, he's just going to jump out, right? But if you put that same frog in a pan of lukewarm water and start to turn the heat up, he'll boil alive because slowly by slowly his metabolism won't recognize the temperature difference until it's too late. I feel like, especially us in the 13th district, the North Shore in general, the state houses treat us like boiled frogs. They pass a little, tax increase one year. It goes up a little bit the next year. They'll pass some crazy social progressive legislation one year, push on it the next year, to the point where you look around and you say, this is not the state that I grew up in. Like John Paul said, the opportunities that we had when we were younger, they don't exist anymore. I got my undergrad degree, like I said, in mechanical engineering from the University of Lowell. I was a full-time student, and I worked my way the whole time. I commuted from Lowell back and forth from Malden, believe it or not, working the whole time. It's impossible to do that today. Impossible. So
Thank you.
that's why I'm here again. Please, if you like what you heard tonight, and I usually conclude any conversation I have with somebody at a door that gives me 5 minutes of their time. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the vote. But please, if you like the message, reach out to a family member or a neighbor, your husband or wife, whoever it is, because that's the way John Paul and I are going to get this message out. It's organically. It's people saying, hey, I talked to this guy. I really think he's got some good ideas. I like what he wants to do up there. Again, I am going to be a conservative voice. I promise you that. I'm not starting a second career as a politician at 59. Okay? I've lived in the state my whole life. I've started, grown, and have a successful small business. I've got a great marriage to my life partner and my muse for 30 years. It'll be 30 years in 2021. I got 4 great kids. They're fantastic, love them to death. I have no intention, if I'm honored to represent our district in Beacon Hill, just to change that. Okay? There is nothing up there they have to offer that I don't already have. I just want to be a conservative voice for us. We don't have one now. We haven't had one since I moved to Peabody in '91.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob, who do you think your Democratic opponent will be? Who's the strongest one running right now?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Who do you think out of your opponents on the Democratic side, who's the strongest? Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I only have one Democrat opponent.
Yeah, but they're all for them. Jeter's not.
Well, the other
It's going to
three
be Sally.
independent.
Sally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the former state reps and your most strongest opponent right now, she'll be the...
I think so, but Mr. Bates was Ted Speliotis' aide for 10 years, so I think he's got a lot of political connections and probably, resources that he can pull to be competitive also. I don't know.
Probably.
Does anyone else have any other questions, concerns they want to bring up? Yep. And again, I can only urge you to keep, we have to pay attention. It's really tough. I mean, I don't even read the newspapers anymore, but some people do. So if you see something in the newspaper that's really bad for our, conservative values, we need to bounce on that. And because we're in that transition period between, news media, printed versus online, and we need to, there's just too many bases to cover. So it's very hard to run a campaign. Most of them just do it online, but at the end of the day, it's grassroots. People like us that come out and talk to our friends, relatives, and neighbors, and make things happen. And that's what we got to do. And and so, and it's really tough in this environment with the COVID-19. I mean, I posted this meeting, and I actually got a call from the Lynn Republican Committee. They said, how the heck can you hold a meeting in a library? How did you get in there? So it's outside. I said, oh! So, you know, we have to be, you know, innovative. So thank God the rain stopped. I'm sure there would have been more people here. As I was driving here, I said to myself, if I wasn't running this meeting, I wouldn't be coming up. But no,
Jim, you got more people here than I've seen at indoor meetings for years. You did a great job, Jim.
So again, we got to support our candidates. There's going to be debates coming up. There's going to be a lot of things happening, and we're going to have to just break this stupidity of this, you know, Governor Baker shutting down, you know, businesses and all this stuff. I mean, if you look at some of the real, we won't even get into it, like you said, we need more, you know, engineers, medical people, because these guys, you know, within, what do you call it? Beacon Hill, Washington, D.C., in the swamp, they create legislation that has so much unintended consequences, it's literally pathetic. They pass a law, they create 6 more problems, and they pass another law to fix one of them, they create 6 more. It just never ends.
All right, do you like my song?
We got to stop it, and this is the only way to stop it, to get real conservatives into the mix. I'm dancing here, folks. I'm dancing.
Thank you.
Stalin for Kevin. But you know, you got anything you want to add to the?
Add to the chatter?
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing I didn't say, which I just came up with. I said in the video yesterday.
Okay.
How many people are you?
So, this is kind of fun. Now, nobody here, I don't think anybody here is in the American closet. Does anybody know what the American closet is?
No.
Anybody guess what the American closet is?
Yeah, man.
All right, so the American closet is this. I lived in something called a gay closet for too many years. I was an athlete and I had a surfing company, an engineer. You're not allowed to be gay in those situations. You just can't. And not least back years ago, right? So I came out of that closet, and I'm like, it was big, scary things. My family's Irish Catholic. By the way, I have a really big Irish Catholic family, and they're all Republicans. Every one of them, like 75 of them. All of them. They're not allowed to be in my family and be elected. Not allowed. So it was really scary, and everybody accepted me. It was awesome. I had a few, just a handful of bigots that didn't, but mostly everybody, 95%. It was much better than I thought. Well, then a few years later, guess what? I had another closet I had to leave. The closet, what that was? The conservative closet. Because I would tell my friends that I'm like actually pro-conservative, and I just came out and I was like being very open about it. And man, I got like screaming and yelling, and half my friends, at least half my gay friends left instantly. People I knew for years. They tolerant gays, right? Very tolerant. And then I got even death threats. I got a guy that wanted to kill me. I got people threatening me because I'm not allowed to be gay and conservative, and especially for Trump. So that happened. Well, then I had to get out of that, and I'm like, you know what? It was the best thing I ever did. I don't care about all these fake friends I lost because all my good friends stay with me. And years and years of all these memories I had, I'm like, you know what? I don't miss you because if you're not with me, then you're against me. That's fine. Met a lot of good people like you guys. It was worth it. Now I see that the American closet is everybody that's being beaten down by the left. That you're not allowed to say you're for Trump. You're not allowed to criticize Black Lives Matter. Of course, the sentiment, obviously we care about Black lives, but the organization is a Marxist, evil, homophobic group, right? So we got to stand, but they've got us so scared. I'm like, I can sense that, I can smell that. I've been there before. And so most of America is in the American closet because you're not allowed to be openly American now, right? That's why I got that truck. I'm not being put in no damn closet again. Right? So I tell people, the gays said, be out and loud and proud. I'm like, how about we be out loud and proud Americans? Right? I mean, the gays can do it. We can do it better. So that's my attitude. So when I see people, I'm conservative, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. I got to keep it down. I'm like, you're the reason why we're going to lose. Because if you're not out there fighting, then you can't press the message along. So I tell everybody, get out of the American closet. Say you're voting for Trump. Say you're voting for me. Say you stand for America. Say you stand for conservative principles. And if we all did that together, the left would have no chance.
We're gonna win.
Stand out. Don't. And everybody here, I'm sure, is like that. But how many friends do you know that say, "I'm with you, but I can't say anything"? I'm like, don't be that person. Come out with American blood. Do you guys don't ever be afraid or ashamed of your country or your values or your Christian faith or your liberty and opportunity. That you never be ashamed of that. So that's my 2 cents about.
Yes, Matt.
Just, yeah, everyone, Kevin O'Connor, next U.S. Senator.
Thank you very much. And I'm so sorry for being late. I'm hustling around as much as possible. Coaching the primary on September 1st. So I'm doing everything I can to be everywhere but I'm sorry to keep you late. So people ask you when you're running for office, 2 main questions. Who are you? Why are you running? My answer to both questions is pretty much the same. I am a concerned father of 4 kids. I'm a proud American, and I'm a fighter. I'm a happy warrior, but I am an absolute fighter. The reason that I'm concerned is because of the stuff we're seeing today. Just every day on the news, in terms of defunding the police, in terms of the disorder and chaos that we're seeing in the streets, the cancel culture that our kids are getting in schools, and we're seeing in the media, the lack of coverage for conservative ideas in the mainstream media. All of it I find very concerning. I found it concerning for years, but everything is just now really completely taken off in 2020, and I'm not going to accept it. So in terms of father of 4 kids, my youngest kid is 9, my oldest is 26, so I've had 2 go through college. I have 1 in 4th grade, and I have 1 in 8th grade. So I have seen how the public schools can educate well and do some great jobs, and I've also seen how they can be advancing ideological agenda items in ways that are inappropriate. I am, but in terms of background, I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for companies for the last 30 years. I'm a business lawyer, basically. I go to court for businesses. I've been doing that for 30 years. I've had the privilege of representing family-owned businesses, small businesses, technology companies, some big companies. I've had some great pro bono cases. I was the attorney of the year for the Massachusetts Tenants Association. I represented 30 families against one of the worst slumlords in Massachusetts. We got him placed under house arrest in one of his own unheated units in the middle of December after a little boy woke up with a rat on his face. And so I have been advocating for 30 years. I'm comfortable taking on big fights. I am running in terms of positions on some pretty simple things. I want to support the police. All successful organized activity begins with public safety, and so I'll be advocating for community safety. I want to make sure that our government protects our liberties, the First Amendment, our Second Amendment, due process, equal protection, all of our constitutional liberties. I want to make sure that our government promotes innovation and capitalism. We all know that the best solutions come from the innovation of individuals in the private sector, and I will do that in contrast to my Democratic opponents. And I want to make sure that we have a strong America. That means supporting our troops, supporting our veterans. My father was a Marine, and he taught me that with the Marines, as with all the services, that if someone's out on the battlefield, dead or alive, you go get them. Make sure that a member of your own is taken care of and brought back to the country. And that's what we owe our veterans as civilians. It's just that you go back and make sure that you take care of your own. So the people who put their lives on the line for our country deserve, when they come back as veterans, to be treated with the utmost respect and dignity. And I will make sure that happens. This is this is an election where people say, well, how can you run against a Kennedy or an incumbent senator, and how can you win? This is Massachusetts. But we all know that what we're hearing in the streets is that there's a silent majority. That the great people in Massachusetts, the majority of whom are independents, who just want common sense. Great people in Massachusetts believe in, just like all of us, safe communities, a limited government that balances its budget and is responsible, and an opportunity to build a better life for our family and for our children. John Paul talks about it. It's an opportunity society, not an entitlement society. And I share completely in that view that what we owe our children and what we owe our community is a fair opportunity to succeed, not entitlement, not guarantees.
Yep.
People in Massachusetts believe in that, and if we band together this year, the way they're behaving, I guarantee you they're giving us this election. So please support me on September 1st, and please support all the Republican candidates in November. This is the election. This is as important an election as it gets. If we can win it, we can absolutely win it. Thank you very much for coming out. And again, I'm going to need you all. I'm going to need every one of you.
Okay, thanks. Anybody have any questions for Kevin?
Thank you so much.
And, okay, we're going to end the meeting, and if anyone needs any information from Kevin, he's got some right here, handouts, that'd be great. And again, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
And my name is Jim Morose, Danvers Town Republican Committee. If you want to get a hold of me, danverstaxpayers@aol.com. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Home of my favorite